people who are corrupted in modern, if you like, urban city existence. So, so much for the Moremos shepherd. You know, we got to get moving. The girl in the cabin, a nice girl, had but a bad cook, found us a guide, obviously her brother, about 14. Like everyone in this abandoned place, shy and suspicious, holding back. The stranger's always a menace, and I and B's, with an American guy who he doesn't name, but he's called B, are two very, I think his name is actually Brewster or something like that, are very quiet-mannered, harmless men, but the first boy could not have borne to go alone with us. No, not alone. He would have been afraid as if he were in the dark, so he's got to bring a friend along to go with him. So anyway, they finally get moving, and he describes this place, Trevetri. Now stands, I think it's on page, what page is it? The village of Trevetri stands, there must have been arks, the ark, the inner citadel of the holy city, so on and so forth. The Etruscans built everything of wood. Houses, temples, all save fortifications. What page is that? Is it 6 or 13? 6, okay, because I got 2 sets of pages depending on which book I'm following here. Gates, bridges, so the Etruscan cities vanished like flowers. Only the tombs, the bulbs under the ground, which were built of stone and were built on a sort of rock outcropping usually across the valley from where the cities were, survived. And on the parallel hills opposite, they like to have their city of the dead, the necropolis. The necropolis is the city of the dead. So they could stand on the ramparts and look over the hollow where the stream flowed among its bushes across from the city of life, gay with its painted houses and temples. Down the hill, down here in the gully, the town, village rather, has built its wash house, and he sees the women washing. They are good-looking women of the old world, with that very attractive look of noiselessness and inwardness which most women have had in the past. I have to tell you, for instance, if you go abroad and you sit in a restaurant and a group of Americans come in, what you hear is the women yakking at the top of their lungs usually at a table where you get Americans, and you don't hardly hear the men speaking at all. Like, how I know it, the men, it's always the men yakking it up. But it's odd, the reversal one finds overseas. What he's worried about is this like boisterous, insensitive sort of gaudy behavior, which is to him not like people used to behave in the past, the distant past. Well, you'll have to judge that. I don't want to excuse him. If you're offended by that, you have to deal with it in your own way, and you should be blamed. It was just like Mexico, only smaller and more human. He knows Mexico well. You do see these things go in Mexico. The boys went ahead across the fallow land and back to the flowers, where there were many flowers. How many flowers did he mention now? About 6 different kinds. Many tiny purple verbena, forget-me-nots, much wild mignonette that has sweet little scent. Ask the boys what they were called. Here's that point I told you. They gave the usual dumbbell answer. It's a flower. And that's what I would call it. On the heaping banks towards the edge of the ravine, the asphodel grew wild, thick with tall flowers up to my shoulder, pink, and now he's going to do a whole paragraph on the asphodel. These asphodels are very noticeable, spasmodic. They feature all the great landscapes. I thought the boys surely would have a name for it, but no, sheepishly they make the same answer. E fiore, puzza. It's a flower, it stinks. Both facts being self-evident, there was no way of contradicting it, though the smell of the asphodel is not objectionable to me, and I find the flower now, I know it very well, beautiful, with its way of opening stone pale, big starred pink flowers, and leaving many of its buds shut with their dark reddish stripes. Anyway, he gives the whole history of the asphodel. The Greeks make much of this flower. It's true that where asphodel makes one expect something tall and mysterious lily, not this sparky assorted flower with just a touch of the onion about it. But for me, I don't care for mysterious lilies, not even for the weird shyness of the Mariposa lily. Having stood on the rocks in Sicily with the pink asphodels proudly sticking up like clouds at sea, taller than myself, letting off pink different flowerlets with such sharp and vivid eclat, and saving up such a store of buds and ear stripes, I confess I admire the flower. I have a certain reckless glory such as the Greeks love. Then he goes on about the narcissus and the, sort of comparing it to the modest daffodil. I believe that the English don't like the asphodel because we don't like proud and sparky things, and he goes on like that. Talks about the Grand Canyon. Well, finally he gets to this place. It's a queer stillness and a curious peaceful repose in the Etruscan places. Not like the Celtic places or the great pyramids of India or the Buddhist palaces in St. Anne's, been everywhere, but here a softness, and I must tell you, it's true. If you go there, you'll